What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a quick update regarding new content this week. And so the Into the Light content rollout continues with the reset on Tuesday, which of course is May the 14th. And for the raiders out there, Pantheon will get its next Gauntlet challenge, we'll touch on that, but we're also going to touch about the return of the 0 Hour exotic mission, with a quick preview of some of the things we'll find there. We also have updates regarding PvP, featured maps and content in the next week, plus we'll talk about doubled rewards and additional drops this reset, and the next location for Archie, and we're going to be finding Archie on the moon this time around. So, as always guys, I hope you find the video today useful, and if you do, be sure to get subscribed so I can keep you posted with more Destiny content. But without further delay, let's get into it. Firstly, it is worth saying that we still have a bunch of reveals coming for the final shape, and this week we'll get an additional one. So, looking out on Wednesday, Bungie do say we'll talk about weapon tuning in a standalone article on Wednesday. So this week Bungie are bound to go more in depth with weapon tuning for the final shape. Once again, look out for that on Wednesday morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, and I'll be sure to keep you posted about it right here on the channel. Otherwise, in relation to PvP content this week, Bungie have said, with the release of the PvP map pack, we want to give everybody the opportunity to experience the new maps. And so over this past weekend, Bungie decided not to bring Trials of Osiris back, and instead the new territory playlist remained. But they have said Trials of Osiris will return this Friday, and it'll feature each of the new maps in the last 3 weeks of the season. So on Friday, we'll get Eventide Labs. So that gives folks a little bit more time to get used to that map if you haven't been playing them too much. And it'll be nice to have some new real estate for Trials this weekend. Moving on though, this week we get a new Pantheon challenge, and this one's going to be Rhulk Indomitable. So much like we've seen in the previous weeks, we'll get an additional encounter added. So the total for this week includes Golgoroth, Caretaker, Macrocosm, as well as Atrax 1, and then Oryx, and finally Rhulk. We'll additionally get the Rhulk Subdued emblem if we can complete that, but as Bungie said, the first challenge started at -5 power, last week was at -10, and so this week it'll be -15, before heading to -20 for the final challenge next reset. So things are certainly getting more difficult, but if you can complete the Rhulk encounter this week, we'll be able to unlock the Rhulk Subdued emblem, which is another pretty cool one, so let us know if you'll be diving into that. Another quick mention for this week to keep in mind, but we are seeing doubled loot and bonus reputation inside of the Nightfall, so if you want to work on picking up any materials that could be useful for the final shape. Plus, the Slammer is featured as the weapon this week, so if you're still working on getting a good roll of that, it's definitely worth jumping into the Nightfall, which will be Cosmodrome Battleground. Just keep in mind all the bonuses that we'll see this reset. Additionally though, something else to keep in mind is that players get a guaranteed deep sight weapon drop upon completion of a seasonal activity every single day, so if you still need to pick up any red borders from this past year, it's certainly worth keeping in mind that we can get those additional drops until the final shape launches. Another big component this week though is that we're getting Outbreak perfected and the return of the 0 Hour. So Outbreak is going to become craftable, and among other stat upgrades, that means that we'll be able to unlock perks like Outlaw, Rapid Hit, Rewind rounds, and Headseeker on the weapon over the next few weeks. And we'll be getting those upgrades by doing repeated runs, as well as a series of additional quests. And they'll come in the form of the Outbreak Refined quests. Much like with Whisper, they'll also be dropping week over week after the initial launch of Outbreak, and we'll need to head to different locations to claim inert Siva clusters before repeating the 0 Hour mission on Legend difficulty. But firstly, for this week, we will need to do the initial run, followed by the Legendary one to get the first upgrade. And there are going to be 3 different Vault puzzles that we can complete in the exotic mission as well. It looks like these will roll out week over week, so we'll probably get the first Vault puzzle this reset, and then an additional 2 in the subsequent weeks, and that will unlock the upgraded 0 Hour ship, the Vimana Junker. And as always, there'll be additional triumphs for 0 Hour, some of which you can see on screen right here, so certainly going to be interesting to jump back into that and see how it plays out, and let us know if you'll be running 0 Hour this week as well. The final mention though for this video is that we're getting a new Where is Archie quest, so this one is going to be featured on the moon. As we've seen for the other ones, we'll have to start out in the Annex and speak to Ada 1, and then we need to visit Eris Morn to ask about Archie's whereabouts. And following that, the first location will be the Accelerator that runs across Archer's Line on the moon. This runs from the very start of Archer's Line all the way up to Eris's location, so it's a little bit difficult ahead of time to say exactly where Archie will be, but the good thing is that the Accelerator is basically just one big straight line, so it's worth starting out by checking the section of it that's immediately opposite Eris. And if it isn't there, simply head towards Archer's Line and we can continue to check the accelerator from there. Once we've found that one though, Archie wanted to see the temple where Guardians famously woke the Hive. This is also accessible from the Archer's Line area, so we'll head to the little sort of section right here, near the temple entrance, and we'll find Archie somewhere nearby. Following that though, Archie heard about a place where Guardians took a plunge to defeat a Hive prince. Then some witches started a ritual, and of course this is referencing Hellmouth, which we can access from Archer's Line as well. So head in the direction on screen, and when we get to Hellmouth, head to the left hand side, and we can find the area where we drop down into Crota's End. This will be the next Archie location. Once we found Archie in this spot though, we can fast travel to Sorrow's Harbour, and for step 5, for Archie's last stop, he decided to ignore Eris's warnings and go and find out what was so special about a lunar pyramid. And this final section is a bit of a longer run, as we need to head into the Pit of Heresy starting area from Sorrow's Harbour. And as we head towards the temple, if we take the door on the left hand side and simply follow the route right here, all the way to the Enduring Abyss, that's the area where we can view the pyramid ship underground. And I will anticipate, based on previous weeks, that there'll be a sort of mini encounter or fight right here, where we will ultimately release Archie. So I'm just going to run the location out for this last little section, as it's the most sort of difficult bit to find, I suppose. And either way, that will conclude the Archie quest for this week. So there we go, guys. That's what we have to speak about in the video today. As always, if you found this one interesting and useful, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. Also, be sure to get subscribed and I can keep you posted with everything related to the game. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in today, and I will catch you all very soon.